Guys, we have a run date, May 9th. It's going down. My second 5K, and it's about to be crazy because I'm definitely going to beat the record that I had last time. Today's my first official long run. I've been doing 30-minute runs, so I'm gonna bump up today to 45 to 60 minutes. We'll see. I might go for 60. But it's also the first day. I got my polar heart rate monitor, so I am still planning on being in zone 2. It's supposed to be an easy run. It's just gonna be a longer pace run. So I'll let you know kind of the comparisons of how I feel as I'm going for it. Today is my first official easy long run, so we're gonna really gauge how this run feels. See, even right now I'm a little high, so I need to slow down a little bit. Finding this zone 2 pace and staying in it has definitely not been easy, and there's been a lot of moments I have to just walk. So if you are like, damn, I can never stay in this zone 2, it's okay. Walk. Get that heart rate better as you build that aerobic base. That is the main priority, because you can't run fast until you run slow. And you got to run slow for a good amount of time. One thing I've noticed already is how quickly my heart rate comes down. So when I get into a higher zone, zone 3, and I notice it, I start to slow down a little bit. And man, so I had a couple times I had to stop, maybe 5 seconds if that, versus last week having to stop for 30 seconds. So I mean, that's a huge improvement. And I don't know if it's the heart rate monitor, the chest strap, or if it's just better conditioning. There's so many people that want to start running, but two things really have killed so many dreams, including theirs, and it's paralysis by analysis. They're looking for all the information. They almost get a high from information. They get the same endorphins from information than they do actually doing the thing. And the second thing is perfection. They want to be completely perfect. They want the timing to be right. They want to wake up 2 hours early, and they're waiting on that, and that thing is stopping them. Golly, somebody's stopping me. You see this? Oh, okay. And those two things, that perfection and that paralysis by analysis, has killed more dreams than failure ever will. Get started with walking. It's the easiest thing you can do. You don't need any equipment. You just need yourself and some shoes. You don't even need shoes. Don't get caught by that trap of perfectionism and trying to get all the information. You don't need all the information. You get started, you're actually gonna be more motivated, and you're gonna grab a little piece of information each day, and that's all you need, because you're gonna get to success way quicker, because most people will never even start. So taking a look at my run today, it felt pretty good. I could definitely tell that there was the chest strap was a little bit more responsive. And even when you look at like how many data points shows up when you look at my run from today versus yesterday, or not yesterday, but Thursday, it's a big difference with how much information is there. So there's really not like I said, it was more responsive. It's just so more assertive with predicting numbers and giving you more data. So that was really cool. I do need to check and just verify my aerobic capacity, that threshold, because I ended up, this run, I was 31 minutes in zone 3 and only 12 minutes in zone 2. So really, I was running too quickly. And so I need to just kind of figure out my pace. And also just see if, like, 2 beats per minute doesn't seem like a lot. But, like, I mean, my average heart rate for this run was 149. And my top of zone 2 is 147. So at 148 is when I dip into zone 3. And so I almost kind of feel like, and it didn't feel difficult, it felt like I could hold a conversation the majority of the time at that pace. So I do need to just confirm that that's like exactly where I want to be, because, I mean, not exactly where I want to be, but just scientifically, is that the right spot for me physiologically? Because if I'm at 150, that makes a big difference. And so there is a combination of, I think as you become a better runner, right? I'm not there yet. You get more intuitive and you can kind of know where your heart rate should be at, what it should feel like. And so as I get better, as I get more runs under my belt, I'll start to understand like where I should be. And so that's going to be a fun path to learn. Now, something a lot of people don't know about is on your Apple Watch, you actually can set up heart rate zones. What's up, big man? What you doing? Huh? You ready to get up? Come on. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Yeah. High five. High five. You want the camera? Here you go. Tell the camera what you want to tell them. Ooh, be careful. You hold the camera while I open up your window, okay? What do you got to tell them? Anything? Say good morning. Say good morning. I'm Marcel. What do you want to do today? It's Sunday. Want to go to the park? Huh? All right, let me have this. You cameraman? Whoa!
¿Qué quieres? ¿Agua? Yeah, agua. Agua.
Surprisingly, most people don't know that their Apple Watch actually can detect heart rate zones. So if you go to your Apple Watch and you go to the workout setting and you hit these 3 dots. What's up, Papa? All right, you wanna help me tell the people about how to use their Apple Watch? So you go to this workout setting, you hit your 3 dots. You're gonna scroll down to preferences. And on preferences, you're gonna see alerts, you're gonna see heart rate zone. So, I mean, you could give yourself an alert for your pace, or let's say you wanted to alert yourself for every lap that you did. That's like a race alert. But really what we're really looking for is this heart rate. So if you go to heart rate, you'll see, if you put in your information properly, you'll see based on your age and it's gonna predict your maximal heart rate to get into different zones. And so here, I already have my zone 2 checked off, and you can do the same thing, or you could do a custom range. Let's say you wanna do a blend of zones, but essentially you go right here and you check off zone 2, and you make sure that, it shows up when you look at this heart rate. And literally that is it. You can do so many things. You can have an alert for your splits. So like right now I got every 0.05 of a mile, which is horrible. That was a horrible idea. But you could get it to track any really, I'm gonna actually update this to every half a mile, because I think it'll be cool to know where that is. And then, you know, if you wanted to have an alert for your time, like, you know, let's say every 10 minutes or whatever it might be, so you can just kind of check pace if you want to know where your cadence is. This watch can do a lot of things, and when you make this setting, I believe it just works on the run sections. So if you do any other type of endurance training, zone 2 training, which I definitely recommend having some variability in your training, like I've been doing a little bit of cycling, like once a week, and you can look at your settings there. But essentially, if you want to maximize your heart rate training, change the settings in your Apple Watch. You already have access to it, and then get out there and start going for it. So when it comes down to it, the Apple Watch, this is the SE Apple Watch, and the Polar is a H9, and both like pretty reasonably priced, not super expensive. I want to say the Apple Watch was somewhere in the mid 200s, possibly, maybe even low. And then this was, I think, like 50 or 60 bucks. And so the two biggest takeaways is, one, the Apple Watch uses an optical sensor, and with the optical sensor, it's detecting not necessarily your heart rate, but your pulse rate. And so with the Polar heart strap, it has an electrical sensor, so it's actually measuring your heart rate changes versus your pulse rate. And so that gives us such a big difference, and that's why we see the Polar chest strap having more consistent and quicker readings, because it's measuring the electricity of your heart. And so now, for most people, do they need that much information? I don't know. I guess it's really up to you to spend that extra $50, $60 or whatever it might be. I think it is necessary if you truly want to know where your heart rate is, because if you think about, you know, those small delays and you're trying to keep your heart rate in a certain zone, it can be a big difference on the training stimulus over time. And so I think it's necessary. Really, it's up to you on how you approach it, what makes the most sense, you know, and is it necessary to know that much data? Because the more I'm learning about true, you know, aerobic base building, where you're trying to keep your heart rate in a certain zone, your heart rate is not going to be the sole indicator if you stay in an aerobic state. So just because you go into a zone 3 doesn't necessarily mean your body automatically stops using oxygen. It's more nuanced than that. And so as you become a more skilled runner, you just run more, you start to notice that just because your heart rate is elevated doesn't mean you necessarily have to slow down. It just means that your body is always adjusting, and it's a normal process, and it's actually okay. You're not going to jump automatically into an anaerobic state. So don't get trapped on just looking at the heart rate as your sole indicator on how to go faster and slower. You also need to be mindful of your breathing. You also need to be mindful of, can you have a conversation fully and, you know, still be in a state that's not on an RPE scale, which is that rate of perceived exertion. Are you at like a 3 or 4 out of 10? If you're around there, you're doing great. You don't need to change anything. And that's essentially another case for maybe you don't need the heart strap. So at the end of the day, choose what's best for you. But these are my findings, and I'll see you in the next one.